Hey guys, so this is another one of my experimental builds here, and I actually used all of these parts from the Trainer90 1S brushless kit, and that kit from GearBest. It actually makes, well, I'll put a picture up on the screen. The camera goes up on top and like in the middle, and it came with a really weak frame. As you can see, I cut the ends of the arms off, and I taped them to the ends of this frame here. Because this frame is going to break anyway. It's really weak. So I decided to just hack up something that I wanted to fly. I wanted to fly the 65mm gem fan props. It came with these, I think these are 55mm ladybird props. So I wanted to get a bigger prop on here. But basically using the camera, the 3D printed camera mount, the motors, the all-in-one ESC, and then the little arm pieces for mounting the motors in this frame here. This frame is actually a frame for brushed motors, and so you can see here what I've done. There's a little holder here, a little rubber grommet that would hold the 8.5mm brushed motor. Took that out, and then I just cut the arms off of the Trainer90 frame, and I just taped them to the end of the arm here, and it fits in this little space pretty good. And then, so in addition to the tape holding the arm on, I used a little bit of CA in between the, I guess the motor mount part here and the end of the arm of the frame, and it seems to work. I've survived a few crashes, no problem, and it flies pretty good. Mainly I just wanted to go 1S on the 65mm prop on this frame. This frame you've seen before a year and a half ago, I think. I had the brushed motors, and at the time that thing built about 44 or 45 grams. And those used the same props, 65mm props. So this one here, as a brushless build, comes in now at about 28 grams. So I've shed 16 grams of weight using the same frame, but now I'm using brushless motors instead of brushed motors. The other one had a receiver as well. That one did not have an all-in-one camera. That's probably why it was a little bit heavier. And then obviously here I'm just there's no mount holes for this 1S brushless board, so I just foam taped it to the main plate there. It's not moving around. It's fine. Yeah, it's kind of a hack job. So I like doing these kind of experimental builds, and yeah, I think it flies just as good as it did before on the 8.5mm brushed motors, but I think actually, because it weighs less, I get pretty good flight times. I'm using these GNB 450 high volt 1S batteries, and then I'm using a different connector. This is not the connector that the kit came with. It came with a 1.25mm connector, and I switched out for a 2mm connector. I'll put all the parts below in the description if you want to duplicate this setup here. It's not basically, it's a Trainer 1S kit. Plus, you got to get the gem fan props. Obviously, you're not going to find this frame anymore because it's not in production, but you could convert some other brushed frame if you want to use the 65mm props. I think there's a lot of bigger brushed frames out there. A lot of the brushless 1S frames are using the 55mm props, which I don't like. I actually like having the bigger prop on these small 1S brushed motors. I think they fly better. Although I think that if I were to redo this, I would not go with the 0703 15,000 kV. I think I would probably go to an 0705 15,000 kV instead. So something to keep in mind. I think these motors are made by Happy Model, I believe. Yeah, these are Happy Model motors. So if you want to duplicate something like this, and you know, you want to go to a 65mm prop, I would probably go with an 0705 for a little bit more power. It still flies fine. It's a nice little park cruiser. It's virtually silent. It doesn't make any noise at all. Weighs next to nothing. It's not going to damage anything if you crash it, and it's a pretty nice little build. If you happen to get the Trainer90 kit and you break an arm, you can definitely reuse the motor mounts on a different frame. All you gotta do is just tape it to the other arm, and then you do a little bit of gluing, and it holds. Because it doesn't weigh that much, it doesn't really need a lot of strength to hold that little piece of the end of the arm on there to fly, and it flies totally fine. Anyway, guys, yeah, it's another little experimental build. you know, I'm not going to really go over how to build this because I'm sure not a lot of people are going to actually duplicate it, but I just want to show this as a sort of creative reuse of stuff that you might already have, or if you happen to have the Trainer90 kit and broke the frame, you can definitely put this onto a different frame and make it fly again. So I just wanted to show this off a little bit. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll show you some flight footage.